Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivara Dhari. Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivara Dhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakacharyashto Tarasata Shishimat, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Shigoranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonan, Chapter 7, the Killing of the Demon Trinavarta, text number 31. Aho Batani Abdutan Esha Rakshasha. Balo nibritting gamito biagat puna. Himsha shwapape na bihimsita kala. Sadhu samatve na bhajat nimuchyate. Aho batatyadbhutan esha rakshasha. Balo nivriting gamito byagat puna. Himsa shwapape na bihimshita kala. Sadhu samattvena bhajat vimuchyate. Aho badatyabhutan esha rakshasha. Balo nibritting gamito bhajat puna. Himsha swapapena bihimshita kala. Sadhu samattvena bhajat vimuchyate. Please chant. Aho batatyabhutan esha rakshasha. Balo nibriting gamito bhajat puma. Hinswa sapapena bihimshita kala. Sadhu samattvena bhajat vimuchyate. Aho batatyadbhutad esha rakshasha. Balo nibritting gamito bhyagat puma. Himsa swapapena bihimshita kala. Sadhu samattvena bhajat vimuchyate. Aho, alas, bata, indeed, ati, very much, abdutam. This incident is wonderfully astonishing. Eshaha, this child, Rakshasa, by the man-eating demon, Balaha, the innocent child, Krishna, Nibritin, taken away just to be killed and eaten. Gamitaha went away. Abhyagat punaha, but he has come back again unhurt. Himshaha, one who is envious. Swapapena, because of his own sinful activities. Vihimsitaha, now that demon has been killed. Kalaha, because he was envious and polluted. Sadhuhu, any person who is innocent and free from sinful life. Samattvena, being equal to everyone. Bhajat, from all kinds of fear. Vimuchyate, becomes relieved. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is most astonishing that although this innocent child was taken away by the Rakshasa to be eaten, he has returned without having been killed or even injured. But this demon was envious, cruel, and sinful. He has been killed for his own sinful activities. This is the law of nature. An innocent devotee is always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and a sinful person is always vanquished by his sinful life. Purport. Krishna conscious life means innocent devotional life. And a sadhu is one who is fully devoted to Krishna, as confirmed by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 9:30. Bhajate man anantyabhak sadhur eva samantyabaha. Anyone fully attached to Krishna is a sadhu. Nanda Maharaj and the gopis and other cowherd men could not understand that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, playing as a human child, and that his life was not in danger under any circumstances. Rather, because of their intense parental love for Krishna, they thought that Krishna was an innocent child and has been saved by the Supreme Lord. In the material world, because of intense lust and desire for enjoyment, one becomes implicated in sinful life more and more. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. Therefore, the quality of fear is one aspect of material life, ahara nidra bhaja maitunamcha. But if one becomes Krishna conscious, the process of devotional service, sravanam kirtanam, diminishes one's polluted life of material existence, and one is purified and protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimbatan swakata Krishna punyan shravanam kirtanam. In devotional life, one has faith in this process. Such faith is one of the 6 kinds of surrender. Rakshasyatiti vishwasha. Hari Bhakti Vilas 11:676. One of the process of surrender is that one should simply depend on Krishna, convinced that he will give one all protection. That Krishna will protect his devotee is a fact, and Nanda Maharaj and the other inhabitants of Vrindavan accepted this very simply, although they did not know that the Supreme Lord himself was present before them. There have been many instances in which a devotee like Prahlad Maharaj or Dhruva Maharaj has been put in difficulty even by his father, but he has been saved under all circumstances. Therefore, our only business is to become Krishna conscious and depend fully on Krishna's for all protection. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Ramapada Swami. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatyadi Satarini. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sometimes we see in the material world that grossly sinful people appears to go through their life unpunished. Sometimes we see very sinful rulers or leaders of societies that have been involved in terrible crimes and abuse of the population. Heavy duty tyrants and sometimes dictators that after finishing their business of almost abusing their powers with people, they retire into some other country and they live a very comfortable life of great riches that they have plundered from the countries that they have led. Sometimes we see, you see it in politicians. You see in the other people that they're involved in some kind of cheatings and crimes that somehow or other they manage to live their lives apparently very comfortably. And there is this always said that, you can escape the laws of men, but you cannot escape the laws of God. And sometimes people will look at these situations and then thinking, almost hoping that these sinful people get punished for their crimes. And then we know, you have the feeling that, or at least the faith, that they will be at the time of meeting their death, they will be punished. Christians or Catholics or the Judeo-Christian people will be hoping that that sinful entity will land in hell forever, punished. We Vaishnavas, we know that Krishna says that for grossly sinful people, they will be cast into lower species of life and they will suffer life after life some terrible situations for the sinful acts that they commit. So in this verse, Srila Sukadeva Goswami said that this is the law of nature. It's a law. It's a law of God and there's no escape for it. Externally, in our little world of this one flickering, very short life, we think that, oh, I may be able to get away. I may be able to cheat my way through my power and my influence. This is how demons think. That my enemies, it is explained in the later chapters of the Bhagavad Gita describing the demons. My enemies I will vanquish. I will get rid of all the different types of difficulties that may be, because Ishwaraham Aham Bhogi, I'm the controller and I'm the enjoyer. So I'm able to control all these things, all my enemies, all my obstacles, I will eliminate. Demons, things like that. And they may appear that they have this influence, but the law of nature, the laws of God is that these demons who are envious, cruel and sinful will be killed for his own sinful activities. And they will always be vanquished for his sinful life. So there's no escape. there is a supreme court in the universe, which is ruled and headed by the demigod in charge of dharma. What's his name now? Yamaraj. And Yamaraj have the capacity and the personal too, who is assisting. It is explained that his scribe, his name is Chitrakut, I think. Chitraketu. That he is keeping a track record of every single person in this world. That every single thing that one does is recorded. So talking about a system of government. Every single thing. So you have to respond at the time of death. You're taken. If you have left a life that is not progressive in consciousness, if you're not following the path of that has been prescribed by Krishna, of gradual elevation, the path of religion, then you're taken to the court of Yamaraj. And in the court of Yamaraj, you're judged by your activities. The taking to the court of Yamaraj is not a very pleasant experience, because the assistant of Yamaraj, they're called the Yamadutas, and they're very fearsome in appearance. They appear like some monsters type. The depictions in paintings, they appear like werewolf and monsters, all these nightmarish type of entities. Very fearsome and armed with weapons, and they basically arrest the living entity who die, arrest them in their subtle bodies and drag them out into this court. So the experience is that in general, when sinful people die, there is this description that when people die, they pass stool and pass urine at the moment of death. And scientifically, people think, oh well, you know, the body loses the capacity to hold, and then, you know, because there's no, it dies, so then everything comes out. But the fact is that that happens when one is terribly scared. Usually when some people are terribly scared, like really, really scared about something, they see something shocking, their bowels get loose and they pass stool or urine. In general, that happens. So it is explained that at the time of death, the sinful living entity witness and see the Yamadutas approaching. And the vision of the Yamadutas coming to take their soul in the subtle body and tie them and drag them out of the body. That's what the time of death is for the sinful people. It is a tremendously scary, humiliating, terrible situation. So you get dragged into the court of Yamaraj and you get judged. and every single thing that the law that we break, it becomes punished. So there is justice in this world, and it always prevails. So therefore, it is important that one uses this human life for the right purpose, which is for the purpose of self-realization, for elevating oneself to the understanding of the absolute truth. Prabhupada quotes this famous verse that is given in the Mahabharata. Ahara nidra bhaja maitunyancha samanyan etan pashuvir naranam dharmo hiteshan adiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubi shamana. That ahara nidra bhaja maitunyam, the one that is highlighted is bhaja, which is fearing. But quoting the whole verse is translated as eating, sleeping, sex, and defense. These four principles are common to both human beings and animals. The distinction between human life and animal life is that a man can search after God, but an animal cannot. That is the difference. Therefore, a man without that urge for searching after God is no better than an animal. Pashubi, dharmena hina, pashubi shamana. So, if one doesn't use one's life for understanding and searching about understanding the self and understanding the absolute truth, then one is destined for life in the lower species of life. So it's important to follow that principle, to understand the purpose of life. And by understanding the purpose of life, then one takes us to the process of devotional service. Prabhupada also quotes this famous verse from the Bhagavad Gita that in which is Krishna's answer to Arjuna about how a man of discrimination is forced to act sinfully even without their even with the desire to is forced to act sinful without being able to avoid that. And Krishna responds with this verse: Kama esha, krodha esha, raja guna samudbhava, mahashano mahapatma vidyanam iha varinam. Krishna said that it is loss only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. So the seed of sinful life is lost. And loss is naturally there when one comes in contact with the mode of passion. So in general, that is a condition of all living entities that come to this material world. One is afflicted by this greatest enemy, the all-devouring sinful enemy of the world, lust. The explanation is that the original love that is there in the spiritual world, that is part of the essence of the living entity, when it comes in contact with the material world, it transforms into lust. The example that Prabhupada gives is that if you take milk and put a sour element, it becomes yogurt, or becomes how you say, paneer, not paneer, but when you break the milk, it becomes curd. So when the pure love of the living entity comes into contact with the mode of passion, then it becomes lust. And so what happened with lust, if it's not controlled or if it's not purified, then from the mode of passion, in which most of the living entities is the mode in which there's action and there's activity. That's what we all do. But if the mode of passion is not elevated by the process of devotional service to the mode of goodness, then without the process of devotional service, the mode of passion will naturally degrade into the mode of ignorance. It naturally happens. That's what Krishna explains to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, that from contact with the mode of passion, from contact with the objects of the senses, dhyato vishayam punsam, then one develops attachments, sangateshu payayate. And then from that attachment, then that is when lust develops. Sangat sanjayate kama. Kama means lust. So, and the natural progression after lust is that kamat krodo vijayate, that anger comes, because there is no question that you cannot fully fulfill your lustful desires. At one point, something is going to spoil the enjoyment of a particular object that you become attached. So that enjoyment, when there's an obstacle, then the natural reaction, if you're conditioned by attachments and in you're conditioned by lust, then the natural progression is anger. And then from anger, then complete delusion arises. Krodha bhavati sammoha. Sammoha means delusion. And from delusion, sammoha smriti vibhrama, then bewilderment of memory. And smriti bramsa buddhina. So from bewilderment of memory, then intelligence is completely destroyed and lost. And buddhi nasa pranasyati, when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the deepest well of material condition and illusion. So without the process of self-realization, the whole thing is an spiral downwards into hellish life. And therefore, it is very important, the recommendation of this process of devotional service, because the process of devotional service is what allows one to properly utilize this human life to understand the self and understand our eternal relationship with Krishna. The process of devotional service, especially recommended, is this process of Shravanam Kirtanam, which diminish one's polluted life of material existence, Prabhupada writes, and one is purified and protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He quotes the verse in the Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, Srimbatam Swakata Krishnam Punyan Shravanam Kirtanam Vidunoti Hyabhadrani Hridunoti Shruhipsatam. That this hearing and chanting, especially hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, the narrations of the Srimad Bhagavatam, but the hearing and chanting this Krishna Katha and this activity, Punyan Shravan and Kirtan, Shravan and Kirtan, being engaged in this activity, the Lord from within the heart, He sees the devotee doing that, and from within the heart, the Lord protects one from all sinful reactions and purifies the sincere devotee. So, in that space of purification, and as naturally one's faith in the process and one's faith in Krishna increases, then one starts to see one starts to advance in this process of surrender. The whole devotional service, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur described as simply a process of gradual, full surrender to the personality of Godhead. He calls them this Sharanam or Sharanagati. Sharanam means the process of surrender. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes all the poems on the songs of Saranagati, which is this gradual process of surrendering. And he explains that there is 6 kinds of surrender. It is quoted in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya also. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, in which he says, Anukulyasha Sankalpa Pratikulyasha Varjana Drakshasya Titi Vishwaso Goptritve Varanam Tata Adma Nikshepakarpanye Sat Vidha Saranagati. So Sat means 6. Sat Vidha Saranagati means the process of surrender. So there are 6 divisions of surrender. The 6 divisions of surrenders are the acceptance of those things favorable to devotional service. That is the first one, Anukulasya Sankalpa. The rejection, number 2, the rejection of unfavorable things. That's Pratikulasya Varjanam. The conviction that Krishna will give protection, that is the one Prabhupada quotes, and that is relevant to this verse. Rakshasya Titi Vishwaso. The acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master. Grotritve Varanam Tata. Krishna is my master. And then full surrender. That's Atma Nikshepa, and humility. Karpanye. So these are the 6 limbs of surrender. So when one takes the process of devotional service, is nothing but the gradual elevation of all these 6 limbs and in our life. So we see how gradually as we progress, we start to more and more, and as we become more and more purified, we get further. It's almost the symptom of purification is that you go further in this process of surrender. As we become purified, we eliminate things unfavorable and we adopt favorable things for devotional service. And we start to see Krishna as our master and as our protector, or as our provider and our protector. And then comes the position of seeing Krishna as the greatest, and we are very tiny, so we approach Krishna with great humility and we fully surrender into him. So in that position we can actually experience the full protection of the Lord. And it is explained that the inhabitants of Vrindavan had this full conviction, although by Krishna's Yoga Maya potency they couldn't understand that Supreme Lord, that they have full faith in their protection, his protection and maintenance was present before them. They could not understand that, but they have full faith in the principle. So in their faith and understanding, they saw that Krishna being saved from the clutches of Trinavarta and being unharmed, although this humongous powerful demon took him, and Krishna, was lying dead with Krishna completely unharmed. The understanding was, oh, Krishna, Lord Vishnu protected Krishna, our innocent child, and he did that because the Lord is reciprocating with our faith and devotion, and naturally we expect and we trust Krishna's protection, and that's why Krishna was unharmed. We trust the Supreme Personality of Godhead protection, that was Krishna was unharmed. And as far as this demon, because it was a demoniac, envious, cruel entity, sinful entity, he was killed by his own sinful activities. But Krishna was protected by Lord Vishnu, so they have full faith on that. And the part that we take, that Prabhupada is helping us understand, is that that is the goal of devotional service, to be completely dependent on the Lord's protection. And indeed, those who are there in that state of pure devotion, they're always protected by the Lord. And like there's so many instances, Prabhupada give the example of Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj, that were always safe from all kinds of troublesome and difficult circumstances. Any comment or questions?
Hare Krishna. So well, thanks for the class. My question is based on some of thinking while you were talking. Is we start to believe and start getting convinced, and then we start having faith, and then we start to surrender in to what we're believing. And that is what helps us out to get purified, is what I believe, and correct me please if I'm wrong, more than the fact that there's kind of like a magical effect, or from let's say from the other part, from the counterpart, let's say from Krishna's side, or from what we are reading, or I have a confusion here that truly is Krishna acting in a way. No, I don't know how to process it. I don't know if you're getting my point.
Sort of.
Is that is our own decision. It is like our own labor of surrendering that help us out more than, I know it's Krishna. Krishna is the one that is acting, but if we're not giving from our part, the effect is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think you were getting almost to answer your own question. Is Krishna? It's from Krishna's side. It's not the process on our own. There's no question we can purify ourselves. Even we're so, in general, okay, let's not generalize like that, but well, most living entities conditioned were afflicted by 4 defects and etc. etc. We're conditioned, and most living entities are conditioned. So on your own endeavor, following a particular formula is very difficult. It's not impossible, it's just very difficult. It's very cumbersome. And it can take many, many, many lifetimes to be able to advance. Many, many lifetimes. And there's always dangers that you become completely deviated or even fall down from the path, and then you have to start again. I mean, it's very cumbersome. So so there is not, to follow a formula is not recommended, or to go into the path that is an ascendant path. To try to understand the self from the ascending path. I think it's called Avarodha Panda. Avarodha and Aroha. Aroha and Avarodha. I can't remember which one it is. But one is ascendant, one is descendant. Descendant means mercy. Descending comes from Krishna's reciprocating. And the verse that Prabhupada quotes, Srimvatan Swakata Krishnan, the translation is like this. And here's where the purification happens. It's not because of us, it's because of Krishna from within the heart. He says, see Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So Krishna does the job when he sees that there is a sincere desire, when there's honesty, when there's the quote here is truthful devotee. He is the benefactor of the truthful devotee. So he reciprocates with sincerity. Ye tatamam papadyante tans tataiva srijamyaham. That according to how we surrender to him, or according to how we come to him, he reciprocates. So we just...
No, I do have that clear. I think that when we believe and have faith and surrender honestly and in a humble way, that happens. But what I'm saying it is because the tendency, the propensity that human life, the human beings have, is like we're giving everything in the in the hands of Krishna, and wait for the magical thing to happen, and that's when the frustrations come, and
that position is not a position of sincerity. That's position of just like also self-centered exploitation, laziness that we tend to have, cheating. And so that's the whole thing of, oh, look, Jesus Christ he died for us. He washed all of our sins. We have not to do anything. He did it already. So the principle that we have is the principle of mercy as well as action. So we have to endeavor as well as there is the mercy. Both things are there. So the example that is given to us is that we're like the baby monkey. That the baby monkey is transported and able to be protected by the mother monkey all the time, but the baby monkey have to hold to the mother monkey. So there's two things. There's the mercy and the protection of the mother, but it's also the act of the baby monkey to hold to the mother. So we have that part. We have to do our part. Our part is to apply the instructions that have been given by Krishna. So in the process, and that's what makes us a truthful devotee, or at least an honest devotee. I mean, we may have, obviously, a devotee in the beginning may be afflicted by a condition that is in the process of being purified. But you hold to the instructions and you sincerely endeavor to apply it. And that's when Krishna will see. He cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed. So there it is. You have to develop the urge to hear his messages. The previous verse to this one is how you develop that urge to hear those messages, and you have to do with serving. By serving those devotees who are completely free from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. So, one does service, one serves. So, how you serve the devotees is the process of pariprashnena sevaya, by submission, by inquiry, and by service. So one have to apply oneself.
Yeah, this is what I was saying, is that Krishna's transforming and redeeming power begins with ourselves first.
Well, no, it's mercy. That we receive mercy from Krishna's devotee and Krishna himself. And then that seed is implanted. And by the mercy and association of devotees, then one starts to take up the process. One becomes purified. The process of surrender starts with that association, that contact with the devotee. That is considered the most fortunate thing that can happen to one living entity. And then that contact creates this faith, and then faith leads you to association with more devotees. Association leads you further and further, and so goes like that. So that's my understanding. If we left up to us, forget about it. No chance. But the association with devotees is what help us, go further in the process, and then we start to apply it. It's all about, and that comes from serving the devotees. Somehow or other, you come into that association and you start to...
No, I didn't. When I say that comes within ourselves, I didn't mean that it has to be just we alone. Begins with ourselves, and as a natural process, we're going to be looking for that association that we always talk about. We need to have people, peers, of the same kind, talking the same thing, in the same wavelength, speaking in the same language, that we're pursuing the same goal in order for us to strengthen our position and our faith in this redeeming power and Krishna and so on.
Yeah.
But begins with ourselves more than the association first, or begins first. We believing in and having faith and surrendering in order for us to look for the proper crowd.
Yeah, I think it's clear. It's a basic principle. So we'll keep going. Kusharji.
I'm sorry.
This verse is extremely encouraging. That the demoniac entity is always vanquished. And I just want to ask a very, I guess, simple question. The best approach in observing a demoniac entity's functioning as a bystander would be what exactly? That would be the question.
Well, in one sense, we have to trust Krishna. He is fully in control. So, yeah, we have to trust. I think that's the main principle. We have to trust that is something. Sometimes we have, in despite of any type of effort, like I say, sometimes some demoniac personality appears to be cruising with no problem, no obstacle, even though it's clear to some people that this person, he deserves to be punished, but he's not being punished. In fact, it looks like he's being rewarded. So in those situations that we see that in despite of our understanding, or people's understanding, or some people understanding, this thing appears to be you know, there's no, the demoniac person appears to be, you know, cruising. We have to understand Krishna has, there's no escape. There's justice, and justice will be taken. So Krishna, if the situation remains in certain ways, because, you know, at the end Krishna is in control. Krishna can vanquish, you know, these demons very easily. Or sometimes that the demons are able to sort of appears to have the upper hands of on the pious and the devotees, is if the devotee have faith, then the devotee sees Krishna's hand in using these demons to purify oneself. So then one finds, you know, oh, actually, you know, I have to elevate myself to a higher level of consciousness, and that's what you know, that's what Krishna is helping us. So I'm thinking, like, you know, in a limited way, that sometimes these interactions with demons also help us go to a higher level. I think, you know, in a more gross example, I think Michelle Obama got said this. It didn't help her it didn't help anything, but it became very popular, something that she said: when they go low, you go high. So he was referring to, you know, the campaign of Trump that was being very sort of like gross and almost like a street fighting type of thing. And then she was encouraging that, you know, why just go low like that? Just go high and show more, you know, higher character. Don't get enticed into some low, you know, thing. So so that's also what we learn from interacting with demoniac type of characters, that we have to go higher, and that's Krishna helping us with that. And as far as them, they can escape. You're always going to have to respond for your sinful activities. There's no escape for that. At one point, if you get some mercy by Krishna's arrangement, you're going to have the opportunity to redeem yourself, but you still have to face it, you know. And there's no escape for that. You have to respond for your sinful activities. You have to answer. So justice will be there, and you know, that's why we devotees, we trying hard to actually eliminate our sinful tendencies, to elevate our lust to love of Godhead, and at least to move from the mode of passion to the mode of goodness, right? And to allow lust to take us into the mode of ignorance. So that's the path of the demons, you know. Yeah. Yes, it's okay. But let's finish now, because it's 8:43, and then we take it off. Garantaraj Shriman Bhagavatam ki jai.